Hello and good morning. Welcome to another brand new day. And of course, it's today in the news on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Chukudi, and we'll just move straight to the headlines. We have a guest in the studio, but we'll move straight to the headlines and then come back to meet our guest. So I'll be taking the Vanguard paper this morning. And the major headlines, we have COVID-19, millions more will sink into extreme poverty, says federal government. The riders, we have unemployment to rise by 3.6% as Nigeria loses 185 billion naira monthly. Reps seek radical measures to avert recession, passes 37 bills. And we have Wike Inspector Real Madrid Academy as the photo story showing on that one. And the academy is to start academic program in September in Rivers State. You can see more on that story on page 13. And on stories above, we have on page 14, EFCC returns 5.7 billion naira recovered from Okorocha to Imo government. And page 7 and 11, we have governors declare state of emergency on rape as Sanwo-Olu male activists work against rape in Lagos. And stories beneath, we have Boko Haram now an industry, says Lawan. Lawan Baja to meet Buhari over insecurity as UN condemns killing of 81 civilians in Borno. You can check more on that story on page 7. Also on the COVID-19 updates, Lagos records 345 new cases as confirmed cases rise to 14,554. With Lagos still topping as the epicenter of the disease. Alright, we move straight to the Nation newspaper, and on the Nation newspaper we have a major headline: government schools to remain short. On the riders, we have there is need to shield senior citizens, others with underlying ailment. Rising virus positive cases worrisome. Inside you have a Nigerian records highest 681 cases. Domestic flights return dates not fixed. New strain of virus likely in Nigeria. NCDC states not bringing samples. And also we'll be looking at June 12 takes root as Democracy Day. Lawan Bajambiamila, governors Omo Agege, Ngige, Obi, Atiku, APC, PDP to Nigerians. Let's learn from history. Tinubu 1993 election changed Nigeria profoundly. On the stories above, we have Magu. It says that EFCC recovered 980 billion naira assets in 5 years, and also 39 million jobs may go, says Shibaju panel. VP proposes way out. And lastly, on the Nation, we have Edo APC battle shifts to Court of Appeal. Two arrested with 36 ATM cards. You can read more on that story on page 4. And away from the Nation, we'll move straight to the Punch newspaper. And on the Punch newspaper, we have a major headline: PTF meets governors, security agencies as COVID-19 cases surge. Records 681 new infections emerged nationwide as total cases reach 14,554. Majority of Nigerians at risk of contracting coronavirus, says federal government. Worship centers, Lagos deploy security agents to enforce compliance. And stories beneath, we have motorists lament barricades, gridlock on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. You can see more on that story on page 4 and 5. And still on page 4 and 5, we have 1,000 ghost workers uncovered on Kwara's payroll, officials arrested. And page 41, lawmakers, government officials buy APC form for Akeredolu. And stories above, we have June 12, Afenifere, Tinubu, Atiku, others hail Abiola, Lagos host youth on page 8. And away from the Punch newspaper, we move straight to This Day newspaper. And on This Day newspaper, we have major headlines: COVID-19, another total lockdown unlikely, says federal government. And the riders, we have rules out resumption of sporting activities for now, with 681 new cases. Incidence rise to 14,554, with 4,494 discharge and 387 deaths. NCDC testing capacity hits 10,000 daily, says Aviation Authority to determine flight resumption. Also, story above, we have Oshibajo Committee project 34.4 million job losses by December. And away from This Day, we move straight to The Guardian. And the major headlines, we have Nigeria must restructure to dignify June 12. The riders, we have Anyoku Afenifere restates call for true federalism. Atiku urges citizens to evaluate leadership requirements. Tinubu lauds Buhari, heroes of democracy. And also we have the photo infographics of COVID-19 cases of Nigeria shown on the front page of The Guardian. And the stories beneath, we have 39.4 million people may lose jobs to COVID-19. Oshibajo panel warns. Buhari hails citizens' resilience. Tax ECOWAS on recovery plan. And pandemic cuts 185 billion naira from monthly earnings. Senate okays 10 trillion naira loan, checks 2020 budget to 10.8 trillion naira. You can find more on that story on page 3. Also on page 3, Okorocha to be arraigned soon, says EFCC. And on page 10, we have June 12 and Nigeria's democracy. And lastly, on The Guardian, we have Buhari's executive order subverts federal system. Mwabweze insists. That story can be found on page 3. And that's all we have for you on our paper review this morning. We're moving on to the paper analysis segment, and that's where our guest will be joining us. But before that, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing across your screen, as well as check out our website www.vanguardngr.com for more of our top stories. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to our guest in the studio. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, it's still today in the news. And we just finished with our newspaper review, and we're down to our newspaper analysis segment where we have a guest in the studio, and she's going to be discussing some of the front page stories that are burning up this morning. And she's in the person of Mrs. Olabisi Deji Folutile. She's the editor-in-chief, FrankTopNow.com, and a former editor, Saturday Punch. You're welcome. It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's just move into the headlines this morning. And COVID-19, millions more will sink into extreme poverty. That's what the federal government is saying. What's your take on that? We've been seeing this poverty. We're going to sink deeper into poverty with the country hitting 89.9 million of late. What's your take on that, Ma?
It's just unfortunate that this is happening. Nigeria has not even had it well, even before COVID-19. And, the impact of this pandemic has been all over. Right now, a lot of countries, because they were, better prepared, better economically, they've been able to actually, adapt to the impact, the negative impact. That is not to say that it's not even having negative impact on the economies. But for Nigeria, it's more difficult because ours is a very fragile economy, even before COVID-19. So we couldn't absorb so much of a shock to the economy. So that people are going to lose their jobs, it's a given. In fact, people are already losing their jobs. I know many organizations that have, laid off staff. We hear this in stories every day. There are some that's even working now, but they are not even getting paid. Some companies have decided to slash salaries, and it's going to be more and more, because unless we are able to get out of this issue, faster, the longer we stay in it, the worse it becomes for us as a nation. So it's just unfortunate, and you can imagine the impact of millions losing their jobs. We are talking of security issues now. It's going to lead to lots of insecurity, because you have to think of what options will remain for these people that have lost their jobs. The people that have jobs are not even going to be saved, because something must give, and it's a serious issue for us as a nation, and it's something that government should just do whatever can be done to reduce the impact of this. Will be a welcome development.
All right. So also looking at unemployment, the government is saying that the unemployment rate is going to rise by 3.6%, and because we keep losing money monthly, and Nigeria is reported to be losing 185 billion naira monthly. Now, the question I want to ask is, how then can this government really help us? Because if we're losing money monthly and we're sending people out of their jobs, how exactly can we help the people?
It's a difficult thing, really, because of course we should know that people stayed home for close to 2 months, government workers, and that means the sources of revenue will be blocked, for government. And you also realize that the price of crude in the international market also dropped, though it has risen to $30 per barrel now. But there are lots of pressure on even our earnings. Now, what can government do to, help the people? Since people keep losing their jobs, government is complaining of low earnings, and what can we really do? I think it still goes back to the government, because that is the responsibility of government. Government is supposed to, that is why government is there. It's supposed to create ways to, it's supposed to provide solutions to problems. I think we just need to expand the economy. We need to open the economy more. And if government is taking loans, what are they using with the loans? Are they using loans to pay salaries? That is not going to help us. If all they're doing is to take loans and to pay salaries, no. So I think right now we need to think of expanding on the economy. We need to think of, looking at areas where people that are being laid off can be reabsorbed back, working back. And I think also that we need to go back to actually creating wealth from our environment. For instance, I believe there is still a lot of prospects in our agri sector, and I think people should it's a long range of opportunities in that sector. I think we need to expand more on that, and expanding more on that goes beyond just giving loans to farmers or subsidizing fertilizer. You need to encourage people to go more into farming, to go more into other sectors in agri. We have the poultry, we have the fishing, we have the snailing, we have different types of areas under that sector. I think government should provide more loans to people that are interested in doing such things, just to keep people busy.
All right, so we still want to focus on the fact that they say we're sinking deep into extreme poverty, and there's some school of thought that believe that we're too much, that's population. So do you think that our population is one of the things that is most likely affecting us and bringing poverty to us? Like for example, there was a time that reports in China, and they said they had to reduce in China one child to a parent rather, and maybe our population, people give birth to so much children, and that's why they can't afford to even take care of these kids, and they bring them into poverty and like that. Do you think our population is
population could be a gain on its own, but I think our problem majorly is lack of planning. I don't think we run a country that plans for the population, the projected population. Of course, I wouldn't say we are not many or we are, but it's a two-way thing. Population can be an advantage as well as a disadvantage. It all depends on what you are doing with your huge population, and it all depends on what you are planning to meet the needs of your population. Do you get it? If you think if you project that you are the China example you mentioned, for instance, we all know that also companies go to China to make use of their labor because of the advantage of the huge population that they have. That is bringing companies to China, industries to China, which is also increasing their earnings and income. So it depends. They are making use of that huge population, and China itself is also preparing for the population. And when China realize that, look, we are getting too many, and what we are planning cannot meet up with the rate of population growth, then they made there was a control over the number of children that people could have. But you see, in Nigeria, we are not even making plans. So we can't even say, okay, our population is so huge or our population is so small. We need to make plans. We need to attack the issue of our available resources vis-a-vis the number of people that are going to be using them. But here we've not even started. So I wouldn't say we are too many, and I wouldn't say we are not many. But I think also that on individual basis, people should ask themselves what the number of people they can actually cater for based on their economic power. I mean, you don't just give birth to children just for the state. You ask yourself, can I actually afford? And if you notice, you see that people that are educated, they seem to have lesser number of children, because you have a projection of what your plans are for your children, and you have that plan, and you don't want them to go below it, and you know your own resources, so you always work towards managing your resources with the number of children you could have. If we do that on individual basis, that is something that we should be doing at the national level, which I don't think we are doing right now.
Okay, so still speaking about millions sinking deeper into extreme poverty. Now, we've been seeing of late that there's a lot of increase in violence, social tension. For example, a colleague of mine today, her phone got stolen. And then it's one of those things that we're going to be experiencing, because now there's no job. So the other man is probably looking for how to survive on the streets, and he doesn't care if he has to make another person uncomfortable or sad about it. So what can you say basically about what is happening, the violence, the social tension that is rising, the crime rate as a result of this whole unemployment situation?
I said it before that we are going to be having security challenges. That is going to be the effect that you can see, that it's going to impact on almost everybody, because people must survive, and that is why these developed countries, that is why they have a lot of social security programs in place, because they know that if you don't take care of the people that are not employed, those of you that are employed are not going to be safe. And that is why you think they are stupid. They are not stupid. And now this is what we are. It's I can't even imagine what is going to be happening in this country if we don't take care of this poverty level and this unemployment rate that is increasing now. We need to do something urgent, and we need to take a drastic step to curtail further loss of jobs, because I don't think we can afford it. Because the people that think they have jobs, people that think they are secure, they are not going to be secure at the end of the day. The tension is going to be rising, and there was a time in Lagos that somebody was driving, and the person was attacked, the vehicle was attacked, stoned, it circulated on the social media. It's going to get worse, because people will see some people in their cars, and they will just feel that no, you don't have a right to be in a car while I'm on the street, while I don't have a home, to sleep in. So it's going to continue, and we still have to throw it back to the government, because that is the responsibility of government. It's still about their job to know, to think of what to do to actually reduce this.
All right, so let's move on to a very crucial matter that has been trending for over a week now, and that's the governors declare state of emergency on rape. We've been seeing reports of rape too much. Every day there's one report of somebody being raped, or yesterday we had a story of a man who has been raping like over 40 women. He was even caught while on the 41, and then he was saying it so confidently that this is what I do, and there's nothing bad about it. And that's the reason why some agencies are calling for stiffer punishment. Now I'd like to ask you, what exactly do you think that the government should do? Because now we were saying that we've not gotten what we want in terms of, okay, these are the things that when people rape people, this is what they should get, for example. So that's my question.
Well, I'm happy that we are getting more awareness on the issue of rape. It's something that has been with us for a very long time, And even now when people talk about rape, I still think we are not thinking deep about rape issues. It's not even about the people that are raped physically now. There are lots of sexual assaults going out there in this country. You go to organizations, do you know how many girls are sexually assaulted on a daily basis? And interestingly, people that even talk and shout about rape now, they are guilty of sexually assaulting women. And I think we should look at that issue also. We should look at the issue of sexual assault as well as rape. We don't have to wait till somebody is raped before a man is punished. You get my point.
Yeah.
Now, talking about punishment for those who rape and the rest, I think there are a lot of issues about rape in Nigeria, and some of the things that have prevented, that have sort of escalated the issue. Let me put it that way. Have you considered the role of the police when it comes to rape? When you go to report a rape case in the police station, do you know how the police respond to such reports? I know I've heard cases of people going to report rape issues at the police station, and the police saying that, how did you dress? Why did you dress like this? How, trying to sort of providing explanation or making excuse for rape. We need to also look at that issue. So it's not just about the punishment now, it's about everybody understanding the concept of rape, sexual assault, and all of us having a common understanding of it as being a problem. Not just looking at it as a woman thing, that okay, maybe the woman enticed, maybe the woman this, still throwing the problem back to the woman. We need to get an understanding of the fact that rape is rape. Rape is an offense. It's illegal, and we need to do something about it. And not only rape, we shouldn't wait till we get raped. Sexual assault is also a major problem.
Yes, okay. So let's move on to this one. That's Boko Haram now an industry, says Lawan. And it's still very funny to see how much that we're going through a lot as a country, and yet some persons would still decide to bomb. Like for example, yesterday the way they invaded that town, and they pretended to be preachers, and they took over the town and killed over 81 persons. So it just shows how much, and that's the reason why the Senate president is saying Boko Haram is now an industry. What's your take on what he said?
Well, I read the story. He said Boko Haram is now an industry, and that it's no longer a religious issue, and that different people of different faiths are now in Boko Haram. And my question is this: if you can identify the people that are in Boko Haram, what stops you from arresting them? If you really know the identity of those who are now in Boko Haram, we don't need any announcement before such people should be apprehended. Okay, now talking about Boko Haram being a business, was there ever a time it was not a business? When you give money, you pay ransom to get people released, what are you doing? You are I mean, if I kidnap somebody today and I get paid for releasing them, what is that to me? It's business. So when I need more money, all I just need to do is to kidnap more people or whatever. So, and I think it's good that all of us are on the same page of the Boko Haram issue now. He also said something about, the military. If the military cannot quell the attacks of Boko Haram, probably people in charge of the military could be relieved of their positions. He said it cleverly. But he also said something about providing the tools that are needed to fight. Now let's go back to tools. Do we really have the required tools to fight these people? And are we addressing the issue of tools to fight these people? Because I don't know why Boko Haram should be such a lingering problem in a country like Nigeria, as rich as we are, and we keep saying that we are defeating them. You don't know which one is defeated, you don't know which one is conquered, you don't know which one is. So why are we still on this matter? Why are we still on it? It shows that there are some things that we probably should be doing that we are not doing. I don't think Boko Haram is going to end by us, pleading with them to stop fighting. I think it should be fire for fire. And how far can we go with this? Do we have the equipment to actually face this Boko Haram insurgents? If we don't have, we need to address that, because you cannot be talking of relieving somebody of his position when you have not provided enough tools. And do you know how many soldiers have been complaining about not having exactly? So we need to address all of this.
All right, so we've been speaking to Mrs. Olabisi Deji Folutile, the editor-in-chief of FrankTopNow.com and former editor of Saturday Punch newspaper. She's been very awesome with all her analysis, and in fact we would have wanted to take a lot of other front pages, but then our time is fast spent. Thank you so much, ma, for coming on the show. All right, remember that you can equally like, share and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on the screen. Also, let us know what you think about the things we've discussed in the comment section, as we would like to read those things and also respond to them. Remember that you can check out more of our stories on www.vanguardngr.com to check more on the stories that are also on the front pages of the newspaper. Till I come your way next time, my name is Precious Chukudi. Thank you for watching.
Hey, nigga,